the story now. A group of pro-Palestine activists have gathered outside the U.S. consulate here in Johannesburg, and they want a permanent ceasefire in Gaza, where over 30,000 people have been killed since the conflict began in October of last year. SABC News reporter Khayelihle Khumalo is there and brings us this update. Kaya, a very good afternoon to you. What is the current situation there? We understand that there was a similar march yesterday, which was called the Quids March. What is currently happening on your side this afternoon?
What I'd like to say, when we enter into government...
Well, that's right, Alicia. A very clear statement by the pro-Palestine activists in their support for the Palestinian cause, and obviously still calling for the permanent ceasefire in Gaza, especially because the death toll continues to rise. And all of this is happening outside the U.S. diplomatic mission here in Johannesburg at the U.S. consulate. But just to get a sense in terms of the activities lined up, we're joined by the coordinator here, Saeed Hussein. So once again, Saeed, quite a very important day because all of this coincides with the day of Al-Quds. We've seen so many demonstrations all over the world. Tell us about the significance of today.
Well, immediately after the victory of Islamic Revolution in Iran in 1979, Imam Khomeini has announced the last Friday of the month of Ramadan to be the International Day of Quds, where all oppressed people of the world are going to come together to commemorate the Palestinian issue, the oppression which is going on, the occupation, the killing, the genocide which is happening in the last 75 years. And as we talk today, something like 5 across the globe, yesterday, today, were flooded with people demonstrating atrocities happening in Palestine, demonstrating against the policies of the United States, the policies of Europe, and the policies of some of the Arabic countries, and especially the occupiers of the Holy Land, which are the Israelis. This is not only about Muslims. This is something to do about all oppressed people of the world. In Palestine, it can be the world, but that's one pain which all of us we are suffering from. There is a tumor in the body of the Middle East called Israel, which is implanted by the Western country, and that has to be removed.
And Saeed, what did you make of the UN Human Rights Council taking quite a very unprecedented step, saying Israel should be held accountable for the atrocities that you have seen? Do you think that within the international community there is now an appetite to address this particular issue?
Exactly. Israel is no Israel which was before 7th of October. That Israel is wicked. There is no more such as thing as the most moral army of the world. The whole world, the whole European spirits, beside the governments, the people of the world are geared to demonstrate against the atrocities. We saw in London 600,000 people march, which was the largest in history of London. We saw all states of United States of America were flooded with people protesting against Biden's administration. We saw the workers of the White House coming, having banners outside the White House. Biden there for ceasefire. We saw South Africa taking this regime into ICJ. The whole world is crying for Palestine, and that is something that we have come here in Johannesburg, in Sandton, opposite United States House, opposite their consulate, which is we call it the spy net of America, to express our hatred for what they do, for the genocide which is happening in Palestine, for the atrocities which is happening in that occupied territory.
And just before I let you go, Saeed, tell me about the symbolic nature. You are outside the U.S. consulate. I mean, the U.S. has been a chief backer of Israel. Do you see that U.S. will heed the calls in terms of making sure that we eventually do see peace prevailing in Palestine?
Well, they have already have realized the heat. at the beginning they had unconditional support for the Israelis, but they have realized the international cry for this. So at least the last time they didn't veto the resolution of the Security Council. At least now the Human Rights Commission of the United Nations has verdict that the selling of the arms to this genocidal regime is going to be banned. They slowly they realizing the heat and the guilt of what's happening. But at the end of the day, American are the father of Israel. Israel is a legitimate child of the United States. If we have 53 states in Israel, in America, they are the 54th state. So without the support of the United States of America, there will be no Israel. Israel has only one supporter in the world, and that is the United States of America. That's why we have come to American consulate to express our hatred, our protest for what they do, unconditional support for Israel, paying American tax to kill the children of Gaza.
All right. Thank you so much indeed. Of course, that's Saeed Hussein, one of the coordinators for this particular demonstration outside the U.S. consulate. Very unflinching in terms of their support for the states of Palestine. And of course, I mean, we've seen so many marches in so many capital cities all over the world.